I'm back with this game. Finally the weekend. Got so many I want to play, so many I want to do. I'm currently playing through the second game of Etrian Odyssey on my own, and I wanted to check out the third game since I bought the entire trilogy for the Switch. And I was like, oh man, I forgot just how much was changed in this mod. It's actually so absurd just how much more well polished this game is. There is, like I said, some stuff I don't like, but those are very minor, and they aren't unlike Etrian Odyssey, the base Etrian Odyssey's flaws. It's just a lot of balance issues, unlike in this mod where it's like, the Ariadne thread is too powerful, woe is me. But if I really wanted to, I could have simply just discarded Ariadne threads every time I used them. Yeah, I could have just done that. What the fuck? And at this point, 100 for the Ariadne thread doesn't mean anything to me anymore. But why not? I'll try to do it if I remember. I just realized the first battle music only plays for the first two dungeons. That's so lame. I'm in a level that's too low for the higher level dungeons, but too high for me to be able to enjoy fighting anything in the lower levels. How annoying. Anyway, what are my quests right now? Whoops. Mom went grocery shopping, so I have a whole bunch of new food to enjoy again. Hell yeah. Need to be at nighttime for some of these quests, so how perfect that it's already nighttime.
Around the world, there are regulations for influencers, for people with a large audience on platforms like YouTube or Instagram or TikTok.
Oh, I haven't opened
Those
any of
regulations
that
make sure
here
that if
yet.
someone is paid to endorse a product, they have to declare that payment to the people watching. But why does no one on TV or film or anywhere else have to do that? What's up, world? It's your boy Tom Reacts, and today's lazy reaction video is sponsored by Disguised Gambling Game. Level up in an endless series of battles designed to create an addiction loop. Then, when the dopamine hits go away, bring them back by paying money for loot crates that look and feel like a random slot machine, but in reality, they're rigged so you win just enough to keep you feeding more and more money desperately into the game until it drains all your bank accounts and credit cards. It won't work on everyone, but it'll work on a few people, and that's how they make a profit. It's like a casino, but without any regulation, and children can play too. I am morally complicit in this. What counts as advertising? That's not a rhetorical question, it is genuinely up for debate. Take this song from nearly a century ago.
Does the women lose its flavor all the best books overnight?
In the late 1950s, British singer-songwriter Lonnie Donegan wanted to adapt that into a more modern style, at least modern for the 1950s. His cover became the definitive version of the song. It reached number 5 on the US Billboard chart and number 3 on the UK charts. But the title and the chorus aren't quite the same. Chewing gum, not spearmint, because spearmint is a trademark, and in 1959, that might have counted as advertising here in the UK, and the BBC wouldn't play it. The evidence for that's a little shaky. Donegan also changed all of the other lyrics, but in the same way in 1970, the song Lola by the Kinks was banned by the BBC because it mentioned a trademark.
The taste is like Coca-Cola.
A ban like that could be devastating to a song's chance of success because back
Coca-Cola.
then, the BBC had a monopoly on radio broadcasting. Yes, there were pirate stations and others broadcasting for international waters, but in 1970, the UK itself had no legal radio stations other than the BBC. If you wanted your song to reach the charts, you wanted BBC airplay. So lead singer of the Kinks, Ray Davies, had to fly back from America to the UK, where the others' master recordings were, re-record those lyrics for a radio edit,
And it tastes just like cherry cola.
and then fly straight back to the US on the same day, so it didn't interrupt the band's American tour. It's a pretty seamless edit. The vocal quality's a little different, but chances are no one would spot it. Back in the 1970s, you could not mention trademarks or company names in songs if you wanted airplay over here. The BBC was funded to an annual tax on owning a radio or television. They were not allowed commercials. And the logic was that maybe someone might have been paid for that reference to Spearmint or Coca-Cola, and thus would have managed to sneak advertising onto the BBC. These days they've relaxed their rules, partly because deals like that rarely happen for song lyrics. There are exceptions, like pop star Pitbull, who did adverts for a camera company and then gave them a shout-out.
Yeah, right, picture that with a Kodak. Take a picture of me with a Kodak.
Strong move there to rhyme the brand name with itself, or maybe a pop star owns an alcohol company and then puts that name into the lyrics, like Pitbull. But leaving those rare cases aside, a product reference in the lyrics of a pop song is usually just that, a reference. People have written hit songs entirely about products and brands.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
But the companies didn't pay for those references, and the companies definitely didn't have control over those references, so I think pretty much everyone would agree, not advertising. Those two factors, payment and control, are what define advertising. Now, the lines aren't always clear. It's standard practice in car journalism for reviewers to be given cars to test drive for free.
What's
It's
the box
unreasonable for a
load?
journalist to buy a brand new car for each review, so
Should be.
often manufacturers will lend them one for a few days on the expectation that they'll get a review out of it. It's a perk of the job. Is that payment? If that journalist writes too many bad reviews about a particular car company or they've got a reputation for being really honest or tough, maybe they won't be quite as high on the list for those test drives next time. Is that control? Does that count as an advert? What about if, instead of just being delivered the car, the journalist or the influencer is flown off first class to some tropical location, all expenses paid, and spends half a day driving the car, another couple of days on a beach somewhere? The sign for that is a junket, and it is a surprisingly common occurrence in quite a few industries. Can a journalist be trusted to give an unbiased review after that? Would that be an advert? Incidentally, this is why when I get invited to try a jetpack or a wingsuit tunnel or something like that, I almost always start the video with the phrase, "I got an email," and I make clear what's happened. Or else, I think I do. I paid my own way there. Didn't take any money from them, didn't run the video past them afterwards. They had no control over what I said. If I'd been injured, I'd have shown it. In the past, I have made public relations people angry because I didn't tell the story they wanted. Do videos like that count as adverts? I don't think so. The regulators don't think so. But that wingsuit tunnel did give me a day's training for free. Everyone draws the line of what's acceptable just beneath what they're doing themselves. That's why I'm mocking sponsorships from gambling companies, but I'm not mocking the basic idea of YouTube creators doing sponsorship reads, because I've done those, and everyone draws the line just below what they're doing. Payment and control. Those are the factors that make something into an advert, and around the world the regulators are clear. If you're an influencer on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or anywhere online, and what you're producing has payment or control by someone else, you have to declare that. Hey folks, just telling you about Anti-Vegas Detox Teas. They're guaranteed never to fail. They cure lumbago, rheumatic scalp, and you drink them for the next 6 months because the money from that reality show I did is really starting to run out. If anyone knows any custom producers, please DM me. The gold standard of influencers declaring how they've been influenced would be Nikki de Jager, a Dutch YouTuber who mainly creates makeup tutorials. Okay, maybe not the gold standard, because using white text on a nearly white background is ridiculous, but if I boost the contrast there a lot, she has specific icons that she uses when she introduces each makeup product. Has she bought it herself? Has she been sent it for free? Because in that case there is payment, getting stuff for free counts, but there's not much control. Or has she been paid to promote it? Is it an advert? Or does she get a cut of sales using an affiliate link in the description? And sure enough, every time she starts using a product in a video, one of those little icons pops up to make sure her audience knows about it. If someone's getting paid for endorsing a product, but their audience thinks they're giving an unbiased review, that's well, maybe fraud is too strong a word, but it's what the US Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, would call an unfair or deceptive act. I'm going to be talking mostly about the US and the UK in this video. That's partly because I'm British and I publish on YouTube and American websites, so those are the rules I have to deal with. But it's also partly because they represent two different ends of the scale of what's allowed and what isn't. If you're in another country, your rules will probably sit somewhere between those two extremes. Anyway, recommending a particular product without disclosing that you've got a financial incentive to do so is considered lying for commercial gain, and in the US, that's something that the FTC can regulate. They have guidance for influencers, which says,
make it obvious when you have a personal, family, or employment relationship or a financial relationship, such as the brand paying you or giving you free or discounted products or services.
And they really do mean make it obvious.
Place it so it's hard to miss. So don't put it on an About Me page or at the end of the video. Use simple and clear language.
Now, in the US, simple and clear language can just be you explaining it, and the word sponsored is good enough. The British regulators, of which there are 3 with various different remits, are a bit more strict. If the brand you're working with here has any control over part of what
I can kill these guys and they give a lot of XP.
then that part of the video becomes an advert. Sponsored is not a good enough word. It has to be advert or ad. And if the whole video is an advert, your audience needs to know it before they click. It's got to be in the title or thumbnail. The one common thread in all these regulations is that every influencer is expected to make it clear when they've been paid to say something, or wear something, or even have something just in frame.
Simply posting a picture of a product in social media or a video of you using it could convey that you like and approve of the product. If it does, it's an endorsement. You don't necessarily have to use words to convey a positive message.
As a side note, that's also in the terms of service for YouTube. If your video has paid promotion, you have to tick a box. That's partly to keep regulators around the world happy, partly so they can put up a notice to viewers, but it's also so the systems can work out what you're promoting and make sure not to run competing ads against it. They're a private company, they're allowed to make those rules however they want, but that's separate to what governments require. And governments require that influencers have to declare when they've been sponsored. But that's a standard that doesn't seem to apply to anyone else. This is going to be a really difficult video to make. There are a lot of people I need to apologise to. But before that, I need to tell you about these new wireless earbuds. They sound like absolute garbage. They don't fit in my ears properly. And in 2 days' time, I will slip up and post a photo on Instagram of me in the gym with my usual Apple AirPods in. But until then, I have been paid to tell you that these are really, really good. In American television shows, characters will sometimes endorse a product for no reason related to the plot.
Subway sandwich, so on.
Classy. I don't think anyone noticed, but often it is more subtle than that. MTV's The Hills New Beginnings is a constructed reality show. It's a soap opera where the characters are also real people, where the boundary between genuine drama and producer-written storylines is deliberately blurred, and it's got product placement. If that was a YouTube influencer putting lingering shots of their makeup sponsor in a video, that would absolutely need to be declared, clearly and upfront, both in the US and in the UK. Remember the FTC guidelines, you don't have to use words to convey a positive message, although sometimes they do anyway, like when the product places some milkshakes.
Boom, got your shake. Wow.
Thanks, honey, my favorite.
One little time.
But that's on TV, so the FTC is fine with it. When they talk about television, they phrase things a little differently.
Product placement doesn't require a disclosure.
A different US government agency, the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, does have some requirements for disclosure, but they're minor. The Hills can just put a few words in the credits at the end of the show, and that's all they need to do. That's not clear, and it's not upfront, it's hardly disclosure at all. What about in music videos? Those are certainly brands associating themselves with someone influential. An Instagram influencer being paid to post a picture wearing a certain brand of headphones is required to put a big disclaimer, maybe hashtag ad on it, even if they're not saying anything about whether the product is good. The FTC's rules for influencers make that very clear. But a pop star who is very, very clearly influencing legions of fans, including a lot of kids, doesn't have to declare anything when they do the same thing in a music video, like DJ Khaled in I'm the One. Or when they're promoting alcohol, like DJ Khaled in I'm the One. Or promoting vaping, like DJ Khaled in I'm the One.
Bruh.
argument that the audience understands what's happening there. Yes, there is payment and there's control, and I reckon there's endorsement, but it's also clear that a product placement is just that. It'd be different if that was a factual TV show about reviewing vape pens. The argument goes that product placement doesn't need to be declared in music videos and other entertainment media because the audience knows what's going on, and that's what the FTC says.
If what the host says is obviously an advertisement, a disclosure probably isn't necessary.
Because it's not confusing, it's obviously an advert, right? Well, it's time to play. Is this an advert?
Why is probably in a...
First clip is from sitcom 30 Rock. Is this a paid advert?
These McFlurries are amazing.
I know. The soft swirl of vanilla and the hard crunch of candy and cookies. Do you think they fight each other?
Yeah.
No.
That wasn't an advert, according to
What?
the writers. McDonald's didn't have a say in that, the writers just thought it was funny. How about this clip?
We're not compromising the integrity of the show to sell.
Wow, this is Diet Snapple?
I know, it tastes just like regular Snapple, doesn't it?
I only date guys who drink Snapple.
Yes, that was an advert, product placement and a testimonial unrelated to the plot. What about the show that inspired 30 Rock, Saturday Night Live?
Now, what's this I hear about an angry Whopper?
It's like a Whopper, but it's spicy. It's got onion rings in it.
In it? So it's an entree that ate its own side dish?
That was product placement. Saturday Night Live have been doing sponsored sketches for years now, and there's stories of them checking jokes to make sure they don't offend their sponsors.
I only use Faro and Ball.
Faro and Ball, I don't know that.
Oh, well, you should. It's the high-end British paint company that offers unparalleled depth in colour.
That sketch wasn't sponsored. It was a complete surprise to everyone at the paint company. The writers just thought it was funny. To the audience, there is no difference between a gag that's been written specifically for a company and approved by that company, where there is payment, control, and endorsement, and a gag where the writers just put a company name in as a joke. It is impossible to tell without researching. But none of those shows have to add any sort of disclaimer until the very end credits, if there's even one at all. How about in cinema? Well, James Bond movies are notorious for their product placement. There's this scene from Casino Royale.
Relax. Amiga. Beautiful.
Or this scene from Casino Royale. Or this scene from Casino Royale.
Usher V3 doesn't
Those
have any
are
her
adverts.
robots, pal.
The film has been altered
That
in
makes no
exchange
sense.
for
I have Reflector,
sometimes for
but
money,
I can't
sometimes
use
for
it because I don't
promotion,
fucking
and
have any
occasionally they might
robots.
in exchange for the boss getting a cameo in the film, like Richard Branson appearing in this scene from Casino Royale. And yes, James Bond movies are famous for this, but it happens in a massive amount of films. Like that time Superman got paid $40,000 for shilling cigarettes, and perhaps even more for sugar-filled drinks. Strong choices for an all-ages movie there, but there's no contains paid promotion on any of those movie posters, no title card letting the audience know about it up front, like influencers have to do. Product placement in film was so normalised as to be a joke in itself nearly 30 years ago.
Contractor, no. I will not bow to any sponsor.
Sure, Casino Royale may put some names at the end of the credits, but even if anyone was still watching then, it's impossible to look at those credits and tell how much payment or control there was, if any. The only reason I can be sure about it is because of all the news articles that cover it. The actual agreements are private between the filmmaker, the companies, and their accountants. Regulators all around the world, they're all fine with that. Product placement, you could say, is not a lie. It's not deceptive or fraudulent. Even with a full-on endorsement, it's just a brand name appearing in entertainment. Sure, it is an advert, but maybe there's a difference because influencers are more trusted. There can be this awful parasocial relationship online where viewers think they're the performer's friend. So when an influencer endorses a product, it sounds like a personal recommendation, and therefore, that's a fraudulent claim. But a character on a TV show? Not the same, goes the argument. No one's going to be confused there. I don't think it's so clear-cut. First, you've got those reality TV stars on the hills. They are absolutely influencers, no matter where they appear. But the rules only apply to their social media. And I'd argue that a character in a James Bond movie saying that a watch is still an endorsement. The character is portrayed as someone who should be trusted about things like that. If characters expressing opinions didn't influence people, companies wouldn't pay for the placement. And after all, I'm a character. This persona is fictional, self-aware, sure, and based on the real version, but fictional. Tom Scott, the actual person, is not like this off camera. Could someone get around the influencer regulations by arguing that if they or their company takes money to provide an endorsement, it doesn't need to be declared because on screen they are playing an exaggerated character who happens to have the same name? That sounds ridiculous, but British TV presenter Lorraine Kelly once won a court case over £1 million tax bill that way. Her lawyers successfully argued that she wasn't being hired to present TV shows as herself, but as a performer portraying a character with the same name, and thus the contracts fell under a different set of tax rules. Yes, there is an obvious, clear difference between putting a brand logo in the background of a TV show and this big friendly thing is good and you should buy it. If it was just those two clear, distinct examples, I think I'd agree with the way things are right now. But it's not that clear. There are a lot of edge cases and the rules differ massively based on the medium. If you thought you were watching an entertainment show and it was actually advertising, is that fraudulent? Is that deceptive? And even if it isn't, is that something worth keeping in check for the good of society? The American government says no. I'll talk more about that shortly. But the UK and most Western European governments say yes. Television shows imported here over the Atlantic sometimes need to have product placements edited or blurred out because our rules are much more strict. Except I'm not sure those rules are always being followed quite as much as they should be. There is one more example I need to talk about. Hey folks, we're having a great time here at Asbestos Land. I've left the wife and kids to go on a boat trip to Dusky Town. I'm off to the life mining demonstration. It's a brilliant theme park. It is 100% safe. Kids, go steal your parents' credit cards, buy some tickets. Thank you very much to Asbestos Land for inviting us. Disney's theme parks have an influencer program. If you post about Disney World a lot, they might give you free passes and invitations to special media events. They even have an annual Moms conference for their top influencers. All that sponsorship has to be declared, of course, particularly under the UK's strict rules. There is absolutely no way that any influencer could take large amounts of free stuff and get special access like that and not declare it very, very clearly. Right? Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway is the last of the great British variety shows. It's been running on and off for nearly 20 years, but it's a part of a UK broadcasting tradition that goes back to the 1950s. Stunts, skits, competitions, musical performances, all in a shiny floor studio, broadcast live. It regularly attracts 6 or 7 million viewers, including a lot of families. That's about 1 in 10 of the whole British population. The hosts, Ant and Dec, are so well liked that they've jointly won the British National Television Award for Best Entertainment Presenter 19 years in a row. In the first episode of the show's 2020 run, they announced that their season finale would be broadcast live from Disney World. It wasn't in the end, obviously the whole pandemic thing, but they were planning to broadcast live from Disney World. Actually, they were sure to say the exact official name is to be broadcast from
Walt Disney World Resort in
It's not the first time they've done that. The 2017 season finale was also from Disney World, and that time, Disney provided a huge stage in the middle of the town square of Main Street, USA. That stage construction obstructed the famous view of Cinderella Castle while the park was open for days. That's such a rare event that I can't actually find any other example of when that's happened. The production may not have been given actual cash money profit from Disney or their other sponsor Virgin Holidays, but clearly they got a huge amount of free stuff and production support. They had hundreds of vacation packages to give away as competition prizes, so they're clearly getting some form of payment from their sponsors, and a lot of it.
Where the hell is this from?
You heard me, Mother, the biggest ever giveaway on British.
Now, the UK regulations on product placement are much, much more strict than the US. There's no product placement in news or children's programming allowed at all, and on shows made in the UK, you can't product place alcohol or unhealthy food. And there are also rules about the way you can place products.
The content of programs shouldn't seem to be created or distorted just to feature the placed products.
So you can't create an entire show just to sell Disney World tickets. Okay, so let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the producers were looking for somewhere spectacular for the season finale, and Disney stepped up.
Programs also can't promote placed products or give them too much prominence. There shouldn't be any claims made about how good a placed product is.
So on British television, you're not allowed to make product placement unduly prominent, and you can't endorse the product.
I love that place.
That's an endorsement in the first minute of the show, and I think the product placement is quite prominent when they have a segment where they show off the presenters having fun on the rides, and another segment where their 2 junior presenters, Little Ant and Dec, show off different rides. Disney even put on a special parade just for the show. That sounds like a lot of very promotional references to me. It also sounds significantly offbeat, but that's live broadcasting for you. Those Those are trusted presenters having a great time at Disney World, endorsing the theme parks to the families watching, including a lot of kids. But they're on television. So despite the UK's strict rules, they didn't have to give a heads up at the start, or label the whole show #ad, or make it clear that all this was advertising. Many years ago, I made a video about the UK's product placement rules, and I said back then how strict those rules were. And yes, they are a bit more strict in the US, but really not as much as I thought. The show did have to do one thing under the UK rules. In the first few seconds, they did declare their product placement here. You can see it in that first 2020 episode. It's the little P logo that was in the corner of the screen for just a few seconds. That's the UK's official product placement declaration for TV. That's all they needed to do. Even under the supposedly strict British rules, they just put that logo on, and it all was fine. I don't think that counts as a declaration. How many kids told their parents they wanted to go to Disney World after seeing that show? How many big, expensive Virgin Holidays vacation packages were sold to the millions of viewers who didn't win the competitions? How much did that 2017 show influence the audience at home? Well, we've answered that at least vaguely. It must have had quite a bit of influence, because 3 years later, Disney said, that was worth it. Let's do it again. Well, you could argue, well, it's clear how this works. Obviously, it's a collaboration with Disney. The audience understands it. That's before you start talking about all the other products mentioned in an average show. From the first episode of the 2021.
That way, Axe, it is a restaurant.
It's a bit difficult. To explain that, I need to talk about America. Hi kids, today we're looking at 301 amazing things about some 90s cartoon series. You won't remember it afterwards, and an hour of your life will be completely wasted. But before that, here's how I keep a family safe with the Ring doorbell. Not Ring doorbell, the Ring doorbell. If someone tries to steal a package from your porch, it'll make them attack and says they'll die in 7 days. Then a creepy ghost will burst down with the doorbell and chase them away. The Ring doorbell is available from that weird shop that certain one there last time we walked through the neighborhood. Also, it's sent to constant live view from the police department. The US Federal Communications Commission, that regulates over-the-air broadcasts, among other things, says that
expressions of views that do not involve a clear and present danger of serious substantive evil come under the protection of the Constitution.
Freedom of speech is a very, very sensitive subject for a lot of Americans, because the right to freedom of speech is part of the First Amendment, part of their Constitution, which often feels like it's taken as a religious text.
Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech.
America has the land of the free in their national anthem, and that includes the freedom to say whatever you want and spend as much money saying it as you want. But despite a reputation, America does not have complete freedom of speech. There are a lot of limits to it. Here's a list of just some of the things that you cannot do in America, despite the fact these are technically limits on freedom of speech. Yes, there is serious evil in that list. But I'm not convinced that someone dropping an F-bomb on Good Morning America beats that threshold. So sure, in the US, you cannot lie in order to sell a product. That falls under commercial speech, which the courts say doesn't have quite the same protections as the First Amendment. If you are endorsing something as an influencer and not telling the audience that you've taken money to do it, it's lying to sell something. That should be regulated. That is a restriction on freedom of speech, but it seems acceptable to pretty much everyone. but because product placement is not a clear and present danger of serious substantive evil, and it's not fraudulent, in the US it's allowed by default. The First Amendment sets a really high bar for government regulation of speech, and something just being confusing doesn't clear it. I don't believe that the US regulators would ever ask TV or film productions to declare their product placement clearly and upfront, and even if they did, I'm pretty sure the courts would strike it down as unconstitutional the first time one of the broadcasters challenged it. I think the only reason those regulations still apply to online influencers might be because no individual has the time or money to file a lawsuit challenging them. If the US regulators want to be consistent with the Constitution and consistent across all media, they have to massively loosen the restrictions on influencers to the point where in many cases no declarations would be needed at all. Or maybe you just have to put a tiny mention of sponsorship at the end of the video where no one would notice, or down the bottom of the description. I think that's a terrible idea. I don't think it's made the world a better place. Although it's worth noting that on YouTube, platforms regulations would still apply. There are private companies that can require whatever declarations they want. And I think they should. But that wouldn't affect Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or anywhere else. Short of tearing down the Constitution and starting over again,
Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech, except for that of corporations.
But on this side of the Atlantic, the default starting point is that free speech should ideally happen on a level playing field. Lawmakers and regulators understand that money can distort public opinion in terrible ways. Britain puts strict financial limits on political campaigns and bans political ads from television entirely. Those bans have been challenged in court and the challenge failed. The restrictions stand. Yes, there are limitations on freedom of speech, but the British courts and European courts say that letting the people with money and power say the most isn't necessarily protecting everyone's free speech. It might be doing the opposite. The ideal over here, according to the regulators, is meant to be for the good of all. Sneaky advertising like product placement might not be fair or good for society. And over here, it's generally seen as okay to regulate things like that for the benefit of everyone. You should have the right to know when you're being advertised to. Otherwise, you risk very rich people and companies being able to quietly influence the world in their favour, even more than they already do. Those are all obviously massive simplifications. Legal scholars will no doubt be angry at me, and anyone who has strong views either way will be certain that the other side is wrong. But in the UK, if it's not very, very obvious that something is an advert, it must be clearly marked. The rules here used to be that you absolutely could not mix advertising and content. That's not the case anymore, but now at least, if people could be confused whether something's an advert, you have to make it clear. If a British YouTube video has product placement, even just something sitting in the background of the shot, the government requires the creator to disclose it clearly and upfront. If the UK regulators want to make those rules consistent across all media, then they'd have to require the product placement in movies and television also had a clear advertising disclaimer at the start. Which seems ridiculous, right? As I wrote those words into this script, it felt ridiculous to me. And then I thought about it a bit, and I realised that actually, I don't think I have a problem with that. We already have a rating system for movies here. If you watch a film in a British cinema, the distributor is already required to add what's called a black card for 5 seconds just before it starts, showing the age rating and the ID number of the film given by the ratings board. We've got precedent for this. If the regulators wanted to make advertising disclosures consistent across all media, if they thought that the public should know when they're being advertised to, as is apparently their goal for influencers, then they should also require a slate that says, this film contains advertising from these companies. And on television, you can change that tiny, invisible capital P logo to be a disclaimer that can actually be understood. Germany's already there. They don't need the show to name advertisers, but they do have to make it very, very clear. So I'm not asking for the regulations on influencers to be loosened, because I don't think they should be. I think it is misleading if you think you're watching an entertainment show, but you're actually watching an advert. I think you should have the right to know when you're being advertised to, and that being clear about who's paying for you to hear things helps democracy and society to work. I absolutely agree that anyone making stuff for the internet, myself included, should have to declare when you've taken payment to say something. I just want the folks who publish offline to play by the same rules. Oh, that is awful.
I tried getting every single achievement in Resident Evil 3 Remake, and then asking Steam for a refund. In case you didn't know, Steam's refund policy states that if you play a game for less than 2 hours, you can get your money back. So I wondered, would Steam give me back my money if I got every single achievement in the game? So that's exactly what I tried in this video. After a few days of research and planning, I realised that the only way to be able to do this in under 2 hours will be to buy the DLC that allows me to play on the Inferno difficulty straight away. And in this single Inferno playthrough, I would need to get an S rank, read every file, open every lock, destroy every Charlie doll, no use of the item box, no more than 1 heal, and acquire every single weapon in the game. And I would need to achieve all of this in under 2 hours to get the Speedrunner achievement. Once I was happy with my preparation, I launched the game on a new Steam account, changed my settings to fit my personal preference, and started the new game with the Inferno difficulty.
New game, Inferno. Alright boys, we're gaming.
The first 4 files are located in Jill's apartment, so I collected all 4, escaped Nemesis in the apartment block, and powered my way through the start of the game. When I arrive at the subway station after Carlos saves me from Nemesis, I turn around and go up the stairs where I'll find the first Charlie doll of this playthrough. I will also get 3 more files in the subway, as well as the Magnum, which will help me out immensely early on in the game, and the first hit pouch, which will give me the achievement Get Organised. I ran outside of the subway where I encountered my first victim, who died with just a handful of handgun rounds. The same could be said for the alleyway, however, which is home to 5 zombies. Instead of killing them with the Magnum or using the flash grenade to get past them, I opted to bait them to the subway shutter, where I will only have to dodge a couple of the zombies.
Fucking hell, this part always scares me.
Ooh! I destroyed the barrel in the main junction to easily kill these 3 zombies, making this area risk-free. For now, at least. I then opened up the first of 20 locks of the run. This one is the safe in the apartment block, which contains the red dot site, and it also allowed me to get the achievement Gunsmith. There was also a Charlie doll hiding amongst the boxes. On to the second half of downtown now, where I killed a few zombies in the next area, using a couple of Magnum rounds and a few handgun rounds. Grabbed the fancy box from the pharmacy, followed by the fire hose.
Alright, now we've got the fire hose, we need to go grab a Charlie doll and some items in the moons. But then we're going to double back and go around, just so we don't get hit. It doesn't lose us that much time, but at least this way is 100% consistent. I must have hit his arm once or something. 100% in under 2 hours sounds a bit much. Well, stick around and watch, because it always sounds a bit much, until Officer Trance is on the case. Is there a way for me to change this? Does anyone know how to change, like, your hotkeys of your chat in Big Picture?
Using the newly acquired bolt cutters, I opened up the shop opposite Charlie's and crafted some Magnum ammo to replenish 2 that I've used, and to free up the all-important inventory space. Since I am not allowed to open up the item box, this inventory is going to get pretty cramped from time to time. Using the rooftop and the apartment blocks, I safely make my way to the side alley, which will contain a decent amount of ammo, as well as that all-important fancy box. I did get ambushed by a couple of parasites, however, but they went to heaven pretty quickly.
Fucking hell, that's close. Might be a bit messed up here, actually. Alright.
What's the quest in here again? With the starfish. I should have marked it. A lot of stuff I wish I should have marked. Had I known New Game Plus would be like this. 5D dead end. Right there.
Okay, so now let's go drop off the boxes. This guy's dead. Yeah. A lot of thought went into this, to the route for this. So when we go to drop the 2 boxes off, we're only going to pick up the grenade and not the shotgun piece. Because if we pick up the shotgun piece, we're not going to have enough space to get everything that we need. So I have to collect so many things. Listen, there's ways and means around it. Right, so I'm going to do my first save shortly, which is a backup for like the power plant area, but I'm going to want to quit the game. Progressing through the game now, I enter the garage area, which contains 3 files, so I collected those, killed the dogs using the generator, and thought that this would be an ideal time to get the 2-for-1 deal achievement. Nice. Everything was going perfect, just as I had hoped. It seemed that all the practice and planning I put into this challenge was paying off. Until this happened. What are you doing? You're joking me. Oh my god. Okay, no, this is one of them catastrophes. Oh, you're joking me. I done the dodge and it didn't do the thing.
Or else the TP recovery is
As you can
useless.
see, I was
That's lame.
very annoyed at this. Thankfully, this is before the only part of the run where I can heal, as you need to kill the poison with a green herb, so it didn't hurt that much. So I made my first of 5 saves, quit the game to fix a Steam overlay issue, and pressed on, not letting this issue get me down too much. When I loaded back in, I read another couple of files and destroyed another Charlie doll, but this is when I had somewhat of a good idea. Can I in theory use a red herb? Because now here is the only place you can heal. You can't heal, no. Apart from here. I'm still on caution, but this might take me a few attempts that I'm not really willing to do. I didn't think too much of it right now though, as I was focused on getting through this horrible area without taking any damage. Let's see how that went. I'm fucking stuck, bro. I
I think
can't
I'll
see.
take the quest first.
Oh. Okay, it's just the most scuffed attempt ever. I mean, this is not awful. This is not awful. As long as I can get through, if I can get through here first attempt, then nothing really changes. That guy always scares me. The guy that bit me. What the fuck is going on over there? It's a fucking orgy. I'm just gonna dodge. Kurva mash. Oh. Dying at the very last part of the power plant was pretty hurtful, but at the same time, it was only a few minutes lost, and I was expecting to die here at least once or twice. Wait, does this count? Wait, can I do this? I then tried my idea from earlier to see if I could exploit the 1 recovery item achievement. I mean, it says 1. If only I'd have done that earlier, I would have just saved myself like 5 minutes. So as it turns out, I could actually combine both of the green herbs together to heal more of my health, and it would only count as 1 healing item. The second try was much more successful, taking 1 hit, but it was negated by the fact that I'd combined 2 herbs together, giving me more health. I don't know why they're being so awkward today. They're not usually this bad. Okay. This is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Okay. Wait a minute.
I knew it.
I'm missing a file, aren't I? I fucking knew it. I'm so glad. I'm so glad I just thought of that. I mean, to be honest, it's not really a big deal because I could have just reloaded the save and come back here and got it in like 30 seconds anyway. I told you guys, if I missed a file, just tell me. It's not a big deal. Alright, now, as long as I can get past this guy, I'm in a good mood. How about you? I am severely anxious. I thought he just ran through the fucking electric. Aye, okay. Okay. Now I can save here. Boom. There we go. Now the run is far from over. You guys know I'm usually much more thankful, but at the moment my arsehole is in a lot of pain. So I will be keeping the thankings to a minimum. Thanks guys. I need to do this in under 2 hours of real time, so we've just gone past the half an hour mark. With the train route confirmed, I can now run into the substation office, where I will collect a file, acquire the shotgun, which is going to be a massive help to me, unlock a locker, and collect some very nice resources. Oh, what the fuck was that? I shot him with a shotgun. See, stuff like this that's just gonna cause me so much time, dude. Like, how? I've never seen that before. Of course these two things would fucking happen today, like...
Carlos.
How much spare time you working with? About 20 minutes, I reckon. About 20 minutes. Which sounds like a lot, but it's not. It's not. Like, if you have one bad death, you are in serious rectum problems, I'm telling you. How much time can you afford to lose? About 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be nice, I just make him my little bitch. With the clock tower puzzle completed, I will gain the achievement Power Stones and an additional hit pouch. I will also make sure to unlock the strong box in the subway, which will give me a few extra shotgun shells.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, this is my first playthrough of Resident Evil 3. I don't know if I like it that much, to be honest. It's alright, but
anyway.
I'll probably... I think it's a bit too short. I'll probably finish it before the 2 hours and just refund it. Like, my next save is not until Carlos Hospital. That's the worrying part. I will have to run my save just before that, so I'm fine. If I can make it there, I don't care. I can already hear some of you guys screaming at your devices going, Trance, you missed the grenade launcher. Well, if you didn't know, or never watched a speedrun before, if you don't grab the grenade launcher here, or a shotgun in the substation for that matter, they will actually just appear before the Nemesis 2 clock tower fight. Because the amount of inventory space I have is so limited that I don't even have one space to spare after I pick up the battery pack. Design 64, thank you very much for the prime. Get this. Backfield manual, yes, I did. I want Inferno. It's one Inferno playthrough. Only if you buy the Inferno add-on, Texter. But you can play Inferno on your first playthrough pretty much. Otherwise it would have to be 3. Well, the DLC actually gives you all the infinite ammo and stuff as well, but I'm just not using it. I mean, technically it would be slower to use it, so... It should be on 8 Charlie dolls. 8 Charlie dolls, how many files? I don't know, 22, 23. Thankfully, I managed to escape the sewers without getting killed by any of the Gamma Hunters, and I also done a quick check to make sure I have everything. At this point, I should have 23 files, 9 Charlie dolls, and 9 locks unlocked. So for some strange reason, the Magnum did not stun Nemesis on the first bullet. Luckily, I managed to recover quickly by using an extra Magnum bullet, followed by a pistol round to put Nemesis into stage 2. Okay. The strategy I use outside Kenbo's is to bring the wandering parasite towards me, and more importantly towards this explosive barrel, by shooting it once with the pistol and waiting for it to come and attack me. Once she is in range of the barrel, I will shoot it, and also kill this crawling parasite that's on the floor. Well, the female parasite didn't die, but you get the point. If this zombie is a bitch and kills me, I'm gonna be so pissed. Oh man, I thought he was gonna fuck me in the ass! With the downtown now completed, it's time to move on to everyone's favourite part of the game, the RPD as Carlos. The RPD is probably the worst segment in an actual speedrun on the Inferno difficulty, but a run where I can use some caution and I don't have to do all the optimal strategies, it's actually really simple. Bullet, yeah. Now the RPD is actually very easy. There's only one thing really that can go wrong, well 2 things, but... No, Michael, that is so not right. Open the thing, dude. Why are you so retarded?
Kinda sucks that repeats don't change what they give you.
Now something can happen, and that will kill me, and there's not really anything I can do about it. If it happens, the run's dead. I don't actually think I can come back from this. This is would be way too long. I think so. I know you don't restore a bit of health like that. I'm so up the stairs, dude. Are you joking? And just like that 20 minutes that I had to spare, that's just all gone right now. I don't have to kill Brad either, but I'm gonna go grab the keycard anyway. Do I really need the key? No. Yes. You don't want the key card. If I can blast through the RPD in like 7 minutes, maybe. Like sub 120 RPD. That's all I had to do, dude. I tried to do some fucking stupid flashy shit and got me killed. Hey, fuck off.
Alright.
See, if this guy was standing here last time, I would have been fine. No, he was like right in my fucking ass. It's not over yet. It isn't over yet. It actually isn't over yet. Okay, remember to get this far out, otherwise it is over. That death was very, very helpful to the time. I'd only calculated about 20 minutes left to spare, and from that death I lost 20 minutes. But I decided to keep going anyway. At this point, I did have all of the Charlie dolls, all of the files, and opened all of the locks that I needed to. So in order to finish this in under 2 hours, I thought to myself, if you just play completely out of your mind, this would be possible. Yeah, maybe like 20 minutes, because I've died in the RPD. If I can finish the hospital by 1:35 as Carlos, maybe I've got a shot. That's a big fucking maybe. I need to get this done in 12 minutes. It's not gonna happen. I can't do it. I'm gonna YOLO the liquor as well. I don't really have a choice. Hey, cool, mash. Still gonna go down and grab the Sentinel though. This is only gonna cost me like a minute, but I can't.
I'm quite left. I'll do
I'm
that
gonna save it for that.
I'm done
That's it. Not much I can do about
for
it.
now. It'd be faster if I went from the deep city.
them then more. With the bulk of the hospital now completed, I started to gain some confidence due to how smoothly this went. Damage from the hunters, while also managing to skip a safety save that I usually take in my practice. This saved me a couple of minutes and was vital to be able to complete this run in under 2 hours. Why is he facing me? I'm 99% certain. I legit just don't have enough time. Like, what's wrong with me? The first hit was my fault, the second one was bullshit. Like, with 1 hour 36 on the clock, that left me with 24 minutes to completely finish the game. I would need to revisit the hospital as Jill, complete the warehouse, finish Nest 2, and then the final 2 boss fights, Nemesis 3 and Nemesis 4. Thank you, Max. I did just think of it, actually. Cool. Okay. I was gonna say, I have to have space, right? I fucked up here so bad yesterday in my practice run.
Wow, falling asleep. What an idiot.
What's the chances they refund the game you played 2 hours and 10 minutes of? 0%? Really? Because I refunded oh wait, shit. I did not think of this. How's the challenge going? I think the run's dead, but I'm gonna try and continue just to see. I might end at like 155 if I know I can't do it. It was around this point where I really started to do the maths, and it just didn't seem possible for me to finish this run in under 2 hours. Refund Dragon Lair, yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, I refunded Blair Witch Project after 4 hours, so that's why I'm kind of and I know they've done like No Man's Sky. Okay, well this is gonna take me 4 minutes to get. I don't have the time. I just don't have it. Yeah, I played like 4 hours and they refunded it. Well, I'm gonna have like 13 minutes to go from the start of Nest 2 to finish the game. It's so close. I'll try it. No, it's all about time lost. I've already lost too much time. I don't know though, it's mega close. It is mega fucking close. 17 minutes, yeah. So the RTA timer is correct. 103 minutes. This is the real deal, but the run's pretty fucking dead. I don't think I can do it. Listen, if anyone works from like Squarespace, NordVPN, and they want to sponsor the cost of the game, like I'll finish the run. But it's just not looking too good. Yeah, but I paused the timer as well, so usually it's like £50, but I got it for 20 with the DLCs I needed to buy. It's fine. I'll double check to make sure if I've missed any files, then I'm just gonna stop the run. Or if I don't get the Charlie Door achievement or something like that, so. That was not ideal. It's close though, it's close. We'll see. Too close for comfort, mate. Who said this was comfortable? Ah, man. I have an issue now. It's not looking too good, guys. I think I need to just call it here and try again later. Like 10 minutes is not. It just isn't possible.
way more time to spare, but I've fucked it up big time. So I'm probably just gonna try again later. What would they call it? Yeah, 9 minutes. I can't do it. God damn it. With only 9 minutes left, 2 boss fights and a chunk of Nest 2 remaining, even after my best efforts, I decided to give up here. Well, kind of. I decided to try again later that evening on a different Steam account, and this run was just so much better than the last. I got through the power station without any problems, the substation was perfect, I didn't die this time.
I'm tired.
Downtown, sewers, and Nemesis 1 all went perfectly, but now we go on to the RPD, and this time